Om Sai Ram. I offer my most humble, loving and reverential pranams at the divine lotus feet of our Lord and Master, Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, but for whom none of us need to be here today. Respected elders and my dear Sai brothers and sisters, not only in India, but in every part of the globe, my loving Sai Rams to you on behalf of myself and on behalf of all the members of the Sri Satya Sai Central Trust on this most holy and auspicious day for all Sai devotees all over the world. Dearest Swami, on behalf of your dear children, your countless devotees all over the world, may I also wish you a very happy birthday. Brother Naganand just mentioned your favorite statement with your charming smile. Whenever we wish you happy birthday, you say, I am always happy. Why are you wishing me happy birthday? Yes, indeed, that is true. Because you are verily the embodiment of Sat Chit Ananda, and we all know that, Swami. Swami, you have also said, and I quote, my birthday is the date when divinity blossoms in your heart, unquote. Very true, Swami. But for this also, we need your blessings, your grace, without which, how can divinity blossom in our hearts? So my first prayer to you, Swami, on behalf of all those assembled here in Sai Kulwant Hall, on behalf of the countless devotees who are watching this program online from different parts of the world, is please install that divinity in us and make that day your birthday. My dear Sai brothers and sisters, as Brother Naganand said, the world has gone through one of the worst calamities in recent times. And unlike other enemies that we have seen, whether it's a war or other calamities like an earthquake or a flood, we know our enemy. We know whom to tackle. But COVID-19 was different. It was an unseen enemy whom we knew nothing about, and we are still, as doctors, still grappling to find out what it's all about, how it came, when it will end. They don't seem to be ready answers. Every expert, every epidemiologist, every virologist who put forth theories has been humbled to be proven wrong. Because I think it is you, Swami, who decides what is best for us. It is very sad, Sai brothers and sisters, that many of our own Sai brothers and sisters have lost their lives. And let us pause for a moment to pray that their souls merge with Swami. Countless others have lost their livelihood. The economic losses and the psychosocial and emotional effects are unmeasurable. We don't even know how long this will go on. Whether our lives will completely come back to normal is still a question mark. But again, as Brother Naganand said, through all that we went through, one thing was very clear. All of us Sai devotees have felt Swami's presence. We have felt his guiding hand protecting us. And if you don't believe me, ladies and gentlemen, Sai brothers and sisters, we will not be here today. The same pandemic could have taken us also. The very fact that we are here is a measure of his limitless love, unconditional love for the whole of humanity. And if he has kept us alive, there is a purpose. That means Swami still wants us to be part of his divine instruments to carry out his divine plan. And therefore, Sai brothers and sisters, there is increased responsibility on us because Swami expects so much more from his devotees. We are all chosen instruments from Swami, and therefore, verily, his Sai ambassadors. And therefore, we have to carry the torch of his mission forward. Swami has always talked about Maya, and we all know that the world itself is a Maya. But COVID introduced another type of Maya within that Maya, and that is a virtual world. Many of us who did not know what the virtual world was got introduced to this and started meeting people only through Zoom meetings and other meetings, which was unheard of. And perhaps that may be the new normal. That may be the way that many meetings are conducted. So I think with all the difficulties that we had through COVID, there have also been learning lessons for us. Swami has taught us, why are you simply traveling all over? I am giving you new methods to connect. So the silver lining of COVID, if you can ever call COVID as having a silver lining, it is that there are many positive things which have come out. Swami also taught us to respect nature, and that also came out as a strong lesson from COVID. But slowly and steadily, we can see that we are coming back to the pre-COVID lives, to our pre-COVID era. And again, with Swami's grace and blessings, I'm sure we will all get back to where we were, perhaps with renewed energy, with new thoughts, new positive things coming out of this COVID, which will probably be very good for the benefit of humanity itself. It is very unfortunate, almost unthinkable, that temples, churches, mosques would be closed. I have not seen this in my lifetime. I don't know whether any of you have seen it in your lifetime. It's unheard of. Temples, all mosques, all religious places, all spiritual places, all churches closed. People not able to even enter. And Prasanthi Nilayam was no exception. I don't think we've had times when Prasanthi Nilayam had to be closed. So these are very humbling experiences for us. Why this COVID had to come and so on is not something which we can imagine. But I think it's a time for reflection that perhaps even during those times, how did we connect to Swami? And how did we keep up our dialogue with Swami? How did we continue to feel his presence? Probably all these have been learning points for us. For me, it's been 1.5 years since since my feet touched this Punya Bhumi, this hallowed place, this very holy place, one of the holiest places in the world. And every day was anguish. When will I come back? When will I come back? And I think this must be the thought of many, many people in different parts of the world who are still yearning to come to Prasanthi Nilayam. So let me share a small secret with you. How did I keep in touch with Prasanthi Nilayam? I managed to keep in touch with Prasanthi Nilayam every single day. Not a single day went without me being in Prasanthi Nilayam. They say that your thoughts are your deeds. So I sat down one day in meditation and was asking Swami, how do I connect to you, Swami? How do I come to Prasanthi Nilayam? Then it dawned on me and Swami made me realize, you can be with me. In meditation, bring Prasanthi Nilayam into your mind. Think of the actual presence as if you're walking through Prasanthi Nilayam. So I decided to do that. So every day, during my meditation, I would start with entering the Ganesha gate, pay my obeisance to Mahaganapati, and then to Subramaniam, and then I would go to the Gayatri Mandir, and then to the Mahalakshmi temple, and then slowly enter the Sai Kulwant hall, enter into the mandir, sit there in meditation, and see the form of Swami sitting in his golden throne there, get in all the vibrations that I needed as long as I wanted, slowly come out to the Mahasamadhi, prostrate at the Mahasamadhi, playing my obeisance, and to this chair, and then slowly leave, make a quick virtual tour of Prasanthi Nilayam and then come back to where I was sitting. I'm sure many of you, I'm not an expert in meditation, I'm sure many of you are doing much better than this. But for those of you who have not been doing it, I know for every 5 people who do this, 10 people may not even have thought about this. Therefore, I thought that can be a simple message. I was able to connect to Prasanthi. So I was thinking, when I actually go there, how will it be? When I actually entered, I found this is exactly what is happening every single day. Of course, coming to Prasanthi Nilayam and staying here is a different experience altogether. And you have to come. But I am talking about the time till the COVID lifts and till the gates of Prasanthi Nilayam are thrown open, until the doors of Prasanthi Nilayam thrown open to everyone. Say, welcome back to Prasanthi Nilayam. There could be a small time before that. We are hoping and praying that Swami permits us to do this very soon. And all the millions of devotees all over the world are waiting for that. And this will happen very soon with Swami's grace and blessing. Swami, please do this quickly so that all your devotees can come back and take your darshan here in Prasanthi Nilayam. Why Prasanthi Nilayam? Why should we go to Prasanthi Nilayam? Why not Prasanthi Nilayam? It's not even a question. Is that even a question? To Sai devotees, is that even a question? I'm even surprised that people even ask this as a question. Puttaparthi is a Punya Bhumi. Prasanthi Nilayam is where Swami has lived all his life. Puttaparthi is where he has lived. He was born here. He lived here. He gave his discourses from here. He sat in this throne. And this is where he walked about. Every place, every inch of this land is sanctified by him. And you have only to enter into the precincts of Prasanthi Nilayam to get your entire life recharged again. Your battery is completely recharged. And you go back as a different human being from the one who came here. This has been my experience. I'm sure the experience of all of you sitting here, all of you listening. And therefore, please come back to Prasanthi Nilayam again and again. The big Sai tree family, it's a huge tree. But the trunk of the tree, Sai brothers and sisters, and the roots are deeply entrenched in Prasanthi Nilayam. Let us not have any doubt about that at any time. There are, of course, branches of this huge tree all over India and all over the world. But the tree itself is here. The roots are here. And it is our duty as Sai devotees to continue to pray to Swami to keep that tree strong now and forever. It is my dream and my prayer, humble prayers to Swami, that Prasanthi Nilayam should become the spiritual capital of the whole world. I know there are many rivers, so many rivers of faiths, so many beliefs, so many cultures, and they're all excellent rivers. But ultimately, all those rivers should converge into the mighty ocean of Sai love, which is here in Prasanthi Nilayam. And it is that prayer, I think, which you should continuously pray to Swami. The centenary celebrations of Swami is only 4 years away. 4 years looks like a very long time. But you just think about COVID, already 2 years have gone. So that's how short 2 years is. So 4 years looks like a very long time. It's very, very short. Every Sai devotee all over the world has to start planning how can we make this centenary celebrations of Swami better? What can I do to contribute to that great occasion? Not for pomp and show. Swami never wanted pomp and show. But Swami's principles, Swami's teachings have to reverberate all over the world. The 8 golden words that he taught, love all, serve all, help ever, hurt never. In all my readings, I have now not found anything simpler than that. And therefore, these 8 words should become the divine mantra of everyone in humanity. The whole world should have these 8 words on their lips. If this happens, Sai brothers and sisters, the world will be a better place. It looks so simple. Love all. And yet, you'll find so many people who are criticizing us, abusing us, even physically assaulting us. Is it easy to love that person? Think about it. Seems extremely simple. Lip service you can easily say. But that's what Swami wants. Hurt, never. You cannot hurt anybody. Even your biggest enemy. First of all, you shouldn't have enemies. If you have those enemies, you can't hurt them. See how Swami has bound us to his principles. And therefore, just imagine, if people of all faiths, let them follow their own faiths, as Swami says. But if these 8 words, there's no religion in this. If these 8 words are adopted all over the world, this should become the universal mantra. And we should all contribute to making this possible before the centenary, Swami's centenary.